The northern river town of Swan Hill has Victoria's highest number of teenagers who self-harm, 7 times the state average. With a figure like that, you'd think it would be easy for the town to get more mental health support for its young people. But today, Swan Hill missed out on federal funding for a Headspace Centre, a cutting-edge mental health program for teens at risk. Anna McDonald reports from Swan Hill.
In an empty classroom at Swan Hill College, a 14-year-old boy explains why he cuts himself.
I know a few people that do it, pretty often.
Why do you do it?
Sometimes you just feel that bad inside. You don't know what else to do, so you just do it on the outside and see what helps.
He cuts himself on the arm every fortnight, sometimes to the point of hospitalisation. Doctors describe cases like this as a cry for help and an act which can sometimes lead to suicide.
Have you ever thought about it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, you just think like you're not worth living anymore. I don't know, it's just a weird feeling.
And how far along have you got in thinking about it? Is it something that you've planned for?
Yeah, I know what I'm gonna, if I had to do it, or not had to, if I wanted to do it, I know where I'd do it, yeah.
It's just such a sad situation to see young people who have their life before them and in this really dark place, and we're the only ones there that can actually help them.
Is that frustrating?
Very frustrating.
Paul Prendergast has been a counsellor at Swan Hill College for 12 years. He's never been so busy and can't explain the reason for the increase last year in the number of students going to him for help.
Most of the students that came in seeking assistance, they were at the high end of depression, and that includes thoughts of suicide, in some cases having places planned to commit suicide. So for us, it was that window of opportunity to get help.
But that help has been hard to find. Out of desperation, Paul Prendergast went to see local GP, Dr. Ernan Hessian. So fed up with long waiting lists to see mental health workers in town, they created their own system, which guarantees students a GP appointment at short notice.
I think, like a lot of country towns, you sometimes have to be more innovative yourselves. You know, I don't think, it's sad to an extent, but I mean, resources are resources, and there's no doubt that, sometimes it just isn't enough. As I said before, Swan Hill is big, but not quite big enough to have, embedded services.
The Murray River town of Swan Hill is home to 10,000 people. Behind its sunny facade lies some worrying trends. The area ranks worst in the state for Year 12 or equivalent attainment, and it has double the Victorian rate of teenage pregnancy. But it's the high rates of young people being hospitalised for hurting themselves that concerns most.
I'm not a stats man, but in my 25 years, I've had some sad occasions to see people who've self-harm to the extent that they've suicided, as I say, I can't give you the statistics, but at the same time, it's sad when any person suicides, and when it happens to a young person, you feel you've let them down.
This 18-year-old Swan Hill student knows the trauma of suicide firsthand. His father took his own life last year.
Talk me through some of the emotions that you felt.
Just alone, so isolated from everyone else. Just had no one.
Did you ever think, if my dad could do it, then why shouldn't I?
Yeah, that was a big, father, son type of thing.
Rochelle Ryan is the only psych nurse at Swan Hill's other GP clinic. She's the first port of call for young people at risk, but she has nowhere to refer her high-risk patients.
You can refer on, but if they need something urgent, it may be, 2, 4, 6 weeks before they're even seen.
But Rochelle Ryan has a bigger concern. She's about to go on maternity leave and her position is unlikely to be backfilled.
So if you're off for a year, what will happen to your 100-odd patients?
Don't know. They'll have to go elsewhere to other services. And that's about it. And the doctors will have to look after them, which, you know, they can do that, but that's hard for them too because they're strained as well. So I don't know. Can't tell you.
"42 local agencies led by the council have been working to secure funding for a Headspace centre like this one in Collingwood.
The way I look at Headspace, it's a one-stop shop, if you look for choice of better words. It's a place that we can take young people, where all the services are there under one roof.
But today, 15 new locations were announced, including sites in Kew, Werribee and Craigieburn. Swan Hill missed out. While disappointed, the council remains hopeful the town will be included in the remaining 20 locations yet to be chosen.
It is hard to recruit people in the country, so hence that's why we're actively exploring establishment of a headspace, because at least with the youth early intervention stuff, we can hopefully attract some people, qualified social workers and things in those areas to work with our young people.
In a statement, the Minister for Mental Health, Mark Butler, didn't address Swan Hill's push for a headspace, but said sites are selected giving priority to areas experiencing social disadvantage or where factors such as youth suicide and substance abuse indicate a high need for improved youth mental health services. As Swan Hill waits in anticipation, the community continues to work on other ways to help.
And we always need to have a plan B, and Paul Prendergast and people like him are plan B people that look and think, well, what can I do? If this doesn't happen, what's available?
My theory has always been, if you can't see a student that's got issues, serious issues, if you can't see them regularly, then that's letting them down. But unfortunately, with the sheer numbers at the moment, and with the lack of outside services to support us, apart from the Swan Hill Medical Group, we're at a stalemate.